This is the fifth and final part of my 5-part EDC Organizer Throwdown video series featuring the Maxpedition EDC Pocket Organizer versus the Vanquest EDC Maximizer Organizer. For this Throwdown video series, we went through a series of stress tests on both of these organizers. So what I'd like to do for this video is tally up the results, and then we'll do some final thoughts regarding both of these organizers. To tally up the results, we're going to give each organizer a pen for every category that they win, and in the end, the most pens wins. The first item to go over is price. So let's go to each of the manufacturer's websites and check out the price. So going over to Maxpedition first, we see that it's listed as $24.99. Let's go over to Vanquest really quick. On Vanquest, we see that they have theirs listed as $22.99. However, when you go to, let's go to Maxpedition on Amazon. On Amazon, you find it for $22.99 with Prime shipping. And then if we go over to Amazon for Vanquest, it's listed as $32.99. In general, I find that the Maxpedition EDC Organizer is generally around the $21 to $22 range, and I see the Vanquest for around the $23 to $24 range. So I'm going to give the first pen for price to the Maxpedition EDC Pocket Organizer. In the initial Throwdown video, we talked about both organizers from a design standpoint and went down to the organization of them as well as the stitching. So as you can see, both of them are very similar in almost every way. They both have the Velcro on the front, they have the pocket in the front, they have the label in the front, they have the handle in the back. They open up the same way. They both have little hooks over here for attaching things. They both have designed in America, made in Taiwan, also a little lanyard here. But when we went down into the details in that particular video, we found that that the Vanquest organizer took the stuff that Vanquest already had and kind of made it a little bit better by having things such as the inverted zipper design, as you see here. Also with the staggered stitching, it allowed for more items to be stored in there. And I also enjoyed having some external slots, as you see here, and you can kind of see the main difference here with the handle. Instead of having the flappy handle that we see here with the Maxpedition, we have more of a streamlined handle that's a little easier to grab. We have the additional stitching there. As you can see, it's very beefy stitching here, the way that it's attached. So from a design standpoint, we found that the Vanquest had a better design overall for the EDC organizer. So we're going to award the next pen to Vanquest. In part 2 of the Throwdown video series, we conducted a drag test on both of these organizers where I dragged them behind my vehicle for 2 miles each on concrete just to see how they handled wear and tear. And yes, that's way above and beyond the call of duty for this type of organizers. Under normal wear and tear, these would easily last you 5 to 10 years, probably even longer, just fine. But we wanted to do a stress test on them, so we dragged them behind the vehicle. So what I'd like to do now is just go back and look at some of that footage from the drag test. Well, as you can see, it got torn up on the inside. It looks like it probably flipped a little bit while I was driving.
Well, this is fun. Just what you want to do on a Saturday.
But I think that the Vanquest kind of won on the interior portion in comparison to the Maxpedition. So as you saw from the drag test video footage, the Maxpedition wore a little bit worse than the Vanquest did, especially along the stitching lines because they're the stitching runs parallel with each other or kind of on top of each other. Once this stitching goes, you're going to lose the integrity of both of these webbing slots as well as these two. And with the Maximizer Organizer, even if you lost the stitching here, the back webbing is going to be just fine. It kind of goes along the whole way except for this particular one here. And just overall, it seemed like the Vanquest handled that drag test a lot better. So we're going to award the next pen to Vanquest on the drag test. In part 3 of the Throwdown video series, we conducted the water test in which we sprayed them both down at the car wash at a very high pressure. Let's take a look back now at some of that footage. Yeah, just do it like that then. I think both of them performed fairly well. We got a little bit of moisture coming in on the Vanquest here on this corner. On the Maxpedition, both the inside is completely dry. Both organizers perform fairly well in that water test. Again, that's way above and beyond the call of duty regarding these type of organizers. Most of the time, you probably wouldn't even get them wet. We saw on the front flap over here that it didn't really matter that this is ventilated, that the contents inside of this one as well got wet. And when you open it up, I think the Maxpedition actually performed best because we had a little bit of water seep in here in the corner on the Vanquest. So we're going to award the next pen to Maxpedition on the water test. In part 4, we conducted a stuff test on both of these organizers to see how well they organized various size items inside of them. So let's take a look back now at some of that footage. We have a nice set of groupings here. I was able to kind of space out the red pens a little bit just because I was able to fit more in the original test run on the Vanquest. So as we saw, the Vanquest EDC Maximizer Organizer did a better job of organizing various gear. It was more efficient in the storage due to the varied and staggered stitching inside of these webbings. Here you also had some additional storage locations as well, and in general you were just able to stuff more things inside of there. So we're going to award the next pen to Vanquest. So with a final score of 2-3, we're going to award the winner of this EDC Organizer Throwdown video series to the Vanquest EDC Maximizer Organizer. In summary, both of these organizers are very nice. I've had the Maxpedition, for example, for over half a decade now. It still looks brand new. It's performed very well. I expect the same thing from Vanquest over time, just due to the similar design aspects of them. So if you already own the Maxpedition EDC Organizer, you might not need to necessarily quickly upgrade to the Vanquest one, but if you're in the market for an EDC organizer and you're trying to decide which one to go with, I would probably recommend going with the Vanquest. It's a very similar design to the Maxpedition, although I think that they raised the bar on several design aspects of it that allow for more efficient storage of the items inside of it. So a little better job on the stitching on all of it, some additional capabilities here, the inverted zipper, and you're just going to be able to store more items inside of it more efficiently. So again, for the winner of this EDC Organizer Throwdown video series, we're going to award it to Vanquest. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this. Please feel free to leave any kind of comments below in the comment section regarding this Throwdown video series, and see you guys next time. Take care.